Wuhan, a name that was once synonymous with Covid-19. Its 11 million inhabitants were the first in the world to experience lockdown for more than 2 months in 2020. According to official figures, 3,869 people died here from the coronavirus. Some estimates put the figure at as much as 3 times that. But 2 years on, Wuhan is practically COVID-free, and the dark days of the virus a distant memory.
We're still being very careful, but we're not afraid anymore. The city is completely normal.
Things are calm here. The epidemic hasn't flared up again. Everyone obeys the regulations.
Wuhan is the safest city. It's a city of heroes. The people here are heroes.
Courage and solidarity are the things the residents of Wuhan want to remember, themes that inspired this artist. Yang Chan paints traditional scenes in homage to her fellow citizens.
With this painting, I want to show that the unity of the people of Wuhan during the pandemic came from the courage and spirit of resistance handed down by our ancestors.
During the crisis, Yang Chan was a volunteer delivering medicines and food and helping patients find beds. The memory of distress in the hospitals lingers.
Nobody said anything. When I would go to the hospital, the only sound I heard was people coughing. It was really frightening. I wanted to leave, but I stayed all the same.
The trauma remains, but the official line is one of resilience. And also the subject of this new film, a melodrama about the Wuhan lockdown. A romanticised version of the pandemic with everyone united in the battle against the virus. And it's a winning formula. The film has been #1 at the Chinese box office since its release on January 7th.
Watching the film really struck a chord. The nurses in the hospitals and the volunteers were extraordinary.
It really brought me back to that time. I lived through that myself, and it wasn't easy.
But the history of COVID in Wuhan is a shadowy one. Chinese authorities maintain the city was not the origin of COVID, but that the virus came from abroad. But suspicions still hang over both the market where COVID was first detected, a place where wild animals were sold, still barricaded 2 years on, and the P4 laboratory where coronaviruses are believed to be studied. China refused to allow a World Health Organization delegation visit the 2 locations in summer 2021. Zhang Hai is one of the few people to openly criticize the government in China. His father died from COVID 2 years ago. He was infected in a Wuhan hospital where Zhang had brought him for a routine operation, knowing nothing about the virus.
After my father died, I looked into things and learned that the virus had appeared in Wuhan long before I went there. The local government had covered things up. If I'd known the coronavirus was in Wuhan, I would never have come back to the city.
Shanghai made an official complaint against the institutions for not warning the public in time. His demands were rejected. Despite the risks, he continues to speak up.
Even after 2 years, I'm still very angry. The authorities lied, saying the disease was under control and there was no human-to-human transmission. They cracked down on people like Li Wenliang, who tried to warn people.
Li Wenliang, doctor and whistleblower, has become an icon. One of the first people to raise the alert about a mysterious pneumonia in Wuhan before himself dying from it. Initially accused of spreading false rumours, he was posthumously rehabilitated in the face of online anger. Chinese social media is still overflowing with tributes to him.
We have not forgotten. Thank you for your courage.
You're my hero.
But most Wuhan whistleblowers have not been rehabilitated. In these videos, citizen journalist Zhang Shan showed overflowing hospitals and life under lockdown.
It's May 13th, 2021. My name is Zhang Zhan.
That was her last video. Arrested shortly afterwards, she was sentenced to 4 years in prison for picking quarrels and provoking trouble. She is now on hunger strike and her family fear for her life. Others were also detained, among them Fang Bin, who has not been seen since February 2020. The absence of these whistleblowers leaves little to counter the official account of the pandemic in Wuhan.